Hello. Welcome to the Konnekt-000-7 experience. Here, we come to the podcast where human connection is everything. If you're trying to connect better with those around you, you're in the right spot. So please, sit back, relax, open your mind, and enjoy the experience. All right. So, hello, everybody. I am the host of this amazing podcast. My name is Thaddeus Sims, and today is our 68th episode titled with our guest speaker's name, Nicole Collins. But before I bring her on, I have to share the fun fact with you all. There is no announcement, but the fun fact, which I thought was this was pretty interesting because I didn't even know this. But anyways, the following sentence can be read forward and backwards. Do geese see God? And this sentence is what is called palindrome. The word itself is from the Greek palin, meaning back, and dromos, meaning direction. So, for y'all, if y'all want to see what I'm talking about, just write "do" at geese see God on paper, and then read it backwards, and it says the same thing. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting.
I can see it,
right? Yeah.
Because see, like looking at it, like, wait, yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's new to me. That's new. Okay, so going into the episode, I'm just gonna say a little bit about her because y'all know me. I don't want to butcher anything. She's awesome. But Nicole Collins, so she's a filmmaker and she's a host from Louisiana. And specifically how we got connected, she actually sent me an email of a video that we're actually going to talk about soon, which was, I will say, guys, it was different and it was bold, and I love it. It caught me off guard, and we're going to talk about that because you guys know it's rare for me to be caught off guard. So with that being said, Nicole, could you let the audience know who you are, what you do, all those great things?
So my name is Nicole Collins. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you very much for allowing me to embark on this journey with you. I appreciate it. I am an actress and a filmmaker and a host and a mental health advocate. I sent my short film called Guilty, and that is what caught you off guard. It's about a woman who can't have an orgasm because white Jesus is haunting her. So I'm sure that log line enough is like, what? It's like, wait, what she did?
Right?
So that's who I am, from Louisiana, Alexandria, and New Orleans, and now currently living in Los Angeles. And I'm also a mother to a wonderful 8-year-old actress by the name of Aadyn Encalarde.
Nice. She's awesome. I've seen your the interviews, and I think it was a video that you had on your website with the co-host, and how she was to be a co-host as well, and just hearing her talking, I was like, oh, she's so bold, she's so courageous.
Yeah, she was 4 when that happened, and now she's on the TNT show called Claws. She's a recur in that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Flash you again. So, okay, let's start off with the bang here. The video, right? So, as she said, guys, the video. So, what she already said just about it itself. When I first seen it, I was like, okay. And then which she sent me the link, so I can have the link on the website on here, and you guys can see the link as well. But basically, it was a pretty interesting clip, and I was very shocked. And we had some very, very good conversation about that. But for them, let them know just like about it, why all of the details, like why did it. Just like how you told me, like the things that you shared with me was that it was something that was common in Louisiana. And I know we had that talk, but we'll get on there. But I guess tell them the source
Yeah, religious guilt. It's a real thing. I can speak from a Catholic perspective. I grew up Catholic, but Black Catholic in Louisiana.
Hmm.
That's a thing. To be Black Catholic, it's a little different
Yeah.
than Catholic, but still Catholic.
Yeah.
So a lot of the religious guilt, the stigmas, all of that is just kind of clouding you, your every move. And most Catholic women have been told once in their life that that someone can see them in a clergy position, calling them sister, whatever their first name is. And it's not like a fun feeling for a nun to come up to you and say, oh, you look like you're going to be in the clergy. You're going to be a sister one day. That's nightmarish,
Mhm.
But that's kind of some of the things that we go through. And so a lot of times when we make our decisions, especially when it comes to our bodies and what we do sexually, before anybody else can tell us anything, in our minds, we're already just kind of like, oh my God, that's so bad. Oh my God, I can't look at my body, or I can't touch myself, or I can't do this, or I can't experience that because it's sinful and I'm going to hell and Jesus is going to be mad at me.
Mhm.
That's a real feeling. And there are actually a lot of men who have experienced this in some type of way, religious guilt in regards to fornication, and the pleasures that come with that. And so I wanted to express that in a film. I always like creating films that push the buttons,
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
close to the edge,
Mhm.
sometimes I jump off and I come right back, just because everybody ain't ready to jump off yet. They ready to get to the edge, but they ain't ready to fully jump.
Right.
So, I'm trying to, project by project, I'm going to get them ready to jump.
Got you.
And so, I wanted to create that feeling because it's so many people that deal with it, and not enough talk about it.
Mhm.
I also, one of the things, I'm all for portraying women in real light. Portray us realistically.
Yeah.
We have periods.
Mhm.
I made sure to include that in my film because it fit the blood of Jesus, the blood of the woman in the dream. Well, you got to watch it. But also because if you're going to portray us as women, portray us for real. We have periods. Why don't we ever see that on camera? Why can we see us doing this and doing that? And, but you can't see us bleeding when that's a normal part of our lives. So I included that as well. As you can tell already by me talking this film,
Mhm.
it pushes. But you don't think it pushed enough. That's okay. We're
What do
going to
you
push
mean? I
it.
don't think it pushed it though. What do
You
you?
think so?
Like I told you, it was bold, and it was just like the first time I was looking, I'm like, oh wow, just
I
okay.
just wanted to hear you say that.
Yeah,
That's all.
because it definitely did. Like I was not just sitting there like, okay, oh, interesting. It was very like, oh wow, like my eyes are like,
Yeah.
yeah, you did that, and it was interesting because I remember when we talked about it before. I know you asked me what is it like here in South Florida, and I mean it's mixed over here. But when it comes to, like I was saying before, when it comes to, well, like Black Catholic, that's new to me. I'm not aware of it here, though it may be a thing. And I just haven't been aware, and just everything that you were saying about it was just like, yeah, it's not really talk too much about, like I was telling you down here, you said, oh, you in the church or you this, that means, you the freakiest ones or something like that. And I talked to my sister and she was like, yeah, no, it's actually a thing. She was saying,
Oh, she told you?
I talked with her about it. Yeah. She was saying like, yeah, that's like a thing that, women go through. And, especially if you've been in a church and like, this is wrong. I shouldn't have sex before marriage. And she was
Right.
like, it's not talked about like
Yeah.
openly. Like it was kind of like how she said, it was kind of like a personal thing, and I guess it is a thing with certain people, but it's not, you're right, it's not something that's really expressed. And that was new to me because I, growing up, it was like, yeah, you're not supposed to have sex before marriage, but it's kind of like, okay, you say that,
Everybody's doing
right,
it.
like, okay, that's nice to know, but it didn't stop me to the point where it's like, oh, I shouldn't do this. But I like, and that's what I love about the video, because it literally threw that out there, and you made me aware of something that I was not. And that's why I said it caught me off guard. And that's just awesome just for me. So I definitely enjoyed you doing it. And then how you started off, and then just how you put like the real feelings and stuff with you guys got to see the video, but how you put the real feelings in there. And it was just like, okay, this is something that caught me off guard, but at the same time, I'm seeing the emotions and I'm seeing how it's affecting a person, and just wow on that. Like, you did everything that you intended to do. So yeah.
Right. And by the way, I know they want to know where this video is, the short film, rather. It's my YouTube page, Magnolia A Productions. Magnolia A Productions. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Because you hyping it up, and I appreciate this.
Oh yeah.
They're ready to see it. Yeah.
I'm gonna put the link in the description so they can definitely, so it'll be easier for them to click on like afterwards. I'll just write a mental note. But yeah, I'll have that information. That way they don't have to find, they just click, put link to video. But yeah, you did that. And what I love about that too is it caused conversations, because it's just like, oh wow, dude, I never knew about that. So now that makes me think, maybe I should ask some of my friends who are girls, like, hey, have you guys ever been through this? And what did you do to get over? Like, how do you still, it causes that conversation. I love what you did there. So that was awesome. So I thank you for that. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Man. Okay. So, all right. I usually ask this question to usually all the guest speakers, and this is just me. I just love this. So you're doing acting, but what would you say, and if it is, that's cool too, what would you say your gift is?
That's a good question. Thank you for asking me that, just in life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Without much thought, and just off the top of my brain, what's coming to mind is leadership. And I feel like that can be broad, because I feel like my creativity falls under there. I feel like my philanthropy falls under there. I feel like my empathy falls under there. I feel like my unique abilities fall under the leadership umbrella. I feel like I have the power to make a difference in the world and get people on board. And leadership requires multiple talents. And I think that's my gift. I feel like I know it's my gift, even like in talking about it, because I feel like so many things happen. You know how when things happen in your life, whether they break you or they give you more insight, or you feel like they're random, because it's really not random. It's like you go through these things, and then if you reflect, you should always try to reflect. And if you do reflect, you reflect honestly and openly, you kind of see what these things are preparing you for. And I've done a lot of reflection over things in life. And I feel like the one thing that they're all preparing me for is some type of leadership and being comfortable with my own thoughts and opinions, and with my ability to make decisions, and my ability to work with other people, communicate with other people enough to where we get whatever needs to be done. So that's my long-winded answer to this life-changing question that you just asked me.
No, but you answered that perfectly and then some, because what I have found with just this question of asking people what their gift is that a lot of people, like you said, off the top of your head is leadership. And then you literally started to name the other things that fall under that umbrella, because what I find is that we all have unique, we'll say, talents, gifts, or something, and it falls under this umbrella of the main thing. And I know for me, like, my gift is connection. Like, I can just connect with people. So there's other things about the gift that is just like, oh, I'm able to like pick up stuff and read stuff on people, or my intuition will tell me stuff, or I'm good at okay, communicating to this person because I can sense their emotions or personality with things. So it's like it all falls under this umbrella. And sorry guys, little moment, but yeah, just my gift. That's just like how that works. There's many different things that falls under that umbrella, what it mainly is. So you answered the question very, very well, and it makes a lot of sense. And you said something else as well in there, just the more you thought about it, the more things that was revealed to you. There we go, preparation, like how you were saying that you get prepared, and a lot of stuff with that. And I relate to you 100% because when it comes to having, like, knowing your gift, you'll find that you have to be prepared, or you start to get prepared to fully utilize it in many different areas. So you answered that really well. Definitely answered that really well. Okay. So, all right, next question is, what was the moment that you knew I'm going to be an actress? When was that moment for you?
Let's see. I've known, here's the thing. I probably can't give you that exact. However, I can tell you this. I do know that I've always wanted to be a singer and performer. That's been the main thing that I wanted to be, my main goal in life. I remember the day my grandmother told me that I sounded horrible and that I needed to stick to something else and not singing, because singing was not my thing. And I remember feeling crushed and devastated, because you can't tell me that I can't sing, especially if I have a microphone in my hand and if I'm on a stage. I turn into Jaja, which is my alter ego. Now, Beyonce and Foster Fierce, I have Jaja. And, I'm the karaoke queen, I tell you. I will bring everybody to their feet. I'm so serious. But that day my grandmother told me that, what I was saying is, I remember the day that my grandmother crushed my dreams of being a singer. I remember that like yesterday. And I knew I still wanted to be a performer. I knew I still wanted to be on stage. I knew I still wanted to be in the lights, however, and change people and move people. So I started doing plays and theater. And that's, after that is when I, was like, okay, acting is my new thing. Since it's still performing. I'm still transforming into something and making people feel and believe and hope and whatever. And so I do remember the day that it switched from singing to acting.
Okay. So grandma laid it down on you, and then you had to.
If only she would have knew about auto-tune at that time, she would have closed.
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man.
Breaking my dreams, and all these people gonna come up around me, as I get older, like in my teen and 20s, all these people with auto-tune. Grandma, I could have been ready. Come on now. You don't break anybody's dreams. You don't know. Look at YouTube.
True.
You know how many people that 15 years ago they would have said you're not talented. Then, YouTube comes around and it's like, oh, everybody's snapping to your beat or laughing to your jokes or whatever they're doing that you're influencing them in. Because the age of the internet, everybody got a talent. Everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. Right.
But I forgive my grandmother. I love her.
It be the grandmas. It really do be the grandmas. Grandmas are.
They think they can say whatever. It's like,
they reach a certain.
Huh?
I said they reach a certain age and they just like, it is what it is. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh man, grandmas. I know my grandma. I can't take her out in public sometimes because she says the truth, and I'm like, grandmother, do not say the truth right now. Like, wait till we get in the car. I'm just saying,
or just don't say nothing.
Right, but she ain't gonna do that. I just don't understand what she was thinking when she walked out the door like that. Oh, no. Okay, you said this right here where the lady can hear us. Okay, all right, bet.
On purpose, by design.
Exactly. Okay, so what is the whole industry like when it comes to film acting and things like that? From someone who just I would say, on the outside receiving and just looking at the videos, what is that whole industry like? What is it like behind the scenes? Like, what is that process?
So as a filmmaker, I enjoy casting because it's on the whole other opposite side. It's like I'm not being on display. I'm now watching the display. It feels so much better. I know this sounds evil, but it's so much better. No, but I am, again, this comes to that leadership thing, right? I am fascinated with putting things together, with being at the helm of the inception, the thought, and just watching it connect and go through. And I enjoy having a hand in making it happen, right? And I didn't realize this. In 2014, I hit like what I call a hard pause into a brick wall with my career in acting. And the guy that I was dating at the time was also a filmmaker, or is also a filmmaker rather. And he encouraged me, and we were kind of, at that time, we were kind of on the same, just both figuring it out, you know, and then we were trying to also see if we could figure it out together, which obviously didn't work out. But, you know, at that time, he was like, you know, why don't you, told me a story about how his dad had recently told him, you know, you're not happy because you're not doing anything. And maybe if you do something or create something, then you'll be happy. And so he shared that story with me. And I was like, cool, I'm going to make a movie. And I wrote something, and together we filmed it. It was a 2-person crew. I was acting, he was directing, and the camera person and the audio person. Acted. And I made my first movie. And it's on my YouTube. It's called Daffodils and Dandelions. It makes me happy because it's like, damn, we put it together for real with no money, just resources. I worked at a radio station at that time, and I worked for the New Orleans Pelicans hosting games. And so I just pulled together a lot of my resources. I had a lot of connections, and I pieced them together. I even used my connections to help him produce a web series that he did at that time too. So just between myself and helping him with his stuff, helping him with the stuff that he had going on, and us kind of being that 2-person team, with me being more behind the brains of it, you know, and he did a lot of the talent work too. But I started to realize that I had a passion for this, and I didn't even know it. I've developed love for it. It didn't even realize that it was there, but when it came into my life, it was like, oh shit, this feels good. And then I just started doing more and more and more. And my daughter she booked 3 things back to back to back. She booked Greenleaf, she booked Girls Trip, and she booked Claws on TNT. And so I found myself going on set with her and not having to worry about acting and anything like that, because I wasn't the one, she was. And I could just watch. And I just remember watching every little thing and seeing the director do his part and just really monitoring him, watching the DP, watching the producers, watching the grips, the PAs, every little bit, and just watching this machine go to work and all the different pieces of the machine flexing its muscles to contribute to the whole, and just watching the hierarchy of the machine and, you know, how it runs, and just being really amazed and intrigued by it, and just like taking mental notes, you know. And then I would even have to play director sometimes to my daughter on set, because depending on who the director was, one director in particular was just like, you get her to do this, you communicate this. And he liked it. Like, he loved everything that, you know, that came out. So I just realized over time that I really enjoyed this. And when I moved to LA, I started getting a bit more serious about the look, because, you know, once you develop something and it's at one level, it's like, all right, I gotta the next thing can't be the same as the last thing. Everything has to keep getting better and better and better. So when I moved to LA, I was exposed to more resources, more people. Of course, it's more people in LA that are pursuing these things, and so there's more connections, more resources just by default. And so I just remember, like, okay, I'm going to get more serious about my work. I want my work to look professional, like you can see it in a movie theater, great sound, great quality camera work and shots, great actors. And I want the whole feeling, even the production part, to just feel that way too. And so I just put more time and energy into writing better scripts and producing a crew and a set experience. And when I moved to LA, the first thing I did, I shot in New Orleans. I wrote it. I was working at the TD Jakes talk show as a production assistant.
Wow.
Assistant producer, rather, is what my title was. A research producer. I apologize. Research producer. And I was working the TD Jakes show, and we were taping a live show and it was the day after Trump got into the office. And this white guy came with his MAGA hat on.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was by design. They were trying to get a diverse audience. But this man was loony. And I hate calling people loony. Sorry. This man, he was, what's the proper word? I'm trying to be politically correct here, because I don't like loony. But this man was off the chain. Okay? I'm going to just get real. He was off the chain. He was wild. Mm-hmm. And this man came in there, and he started complaining about everybody. He used the word "you people" a few times. You people, ungrateful. And TD Jakes was even like, "What do you mean by you people?" You know what he meant by you people, right?
I do.
And at one point, the man left. They kicked him out because it got so bad. In my mind, because I'm really imaginative and I just go there, I'm just like, what if he comes back with a gun? What if this is a setup to get us all? And so my wheels started churning. And then after we taped, I had to go back to the office and do work. We finished taping maybe around 2, and I wouldn't get off until 10 at night. But it was no way I could work after that. After that emotional, no, I couldn't work. And then my mind was going. So I sat there and I wrote a short film on the clock. TD Jakes paid for my time, my Wi-Fi. And it's Aftermath 2016 is on the YouTube as well. But I shot it in New Orleans because I love going back home and doing things as much as possible. And then after that, I was like, okay, I got to make something better than that. And so I started working with different filmmakers out here and connecting with their crew. Like, oh, that person's good. Oh, that person's good. Let me get them. And so, with their blessings, of course.
Right.
So then, I put together, and that's when I created Guilty. I wrote that. The thought had been in my mind. I kept wanting to do something bold and sexual, celebrating female sexuality, and I knew I wanted to include a period. Mm-hmm. I've been wanting to include a period, but in a way that makes sense, Right. And so I came up with Guilty, which is the movie that I just released on YouTube. And I wrote it in a night. And I drafted it and worked and things like that. And so, as you can tell by my face, answer your question, it's great being the ones to produce and direct. It's a great feeling. The climate of it, as an independent filmmaker, there's so many opportunities for us. Now people are looking for those indie folks with projects already in the works. People are searching YouTube. They're searching all of these other platforms for digital media, trying to find the next big stars or the next big project that's already in the works. It's a really good climate for us. It's still a who you know industry.
Yeah.
So, you're more likely to break through doors with who you know and who can vouch for you. But, talent is still very important. Research, you got to still research. You got to still know your stuff. You got to still be innovative to a certain degree, because even if you are redoing something that's been done a million times, it's the person that puts their unique twist to it that's going to go farther, because there's only so many ideas, right? Mm-hmm. And people keep doing the same rendition of the same ideas, but it's the ideas that are unique and uniquely someone's rendition that go further. So that's what it's like being in the industry. It's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of learning, connecting, networking. And I can't stand social media. But, thanks to social media, that's how I found you.
True.
It's like you got to learn how to use these things and get over whatever it is hindering you from going out there and talking to people and connecting to people and asking questions. Don't let ego, don't worry about it. They're going to play you. The worst they can say is no. Mm-hmm. They might catch it on video nowadays, but nobody cares. That might be the thing that gets you on. These days, the rejection on camera might be the one thing that gets you famous. You just don't know.
True.
So, there, my long-winded answer to your question.
No, but I like that. I like that. It was very detailed. I like detail, so you
Okay,
ain't
I'm very
that ain't
detailed.
long winded to me. I'm very detailed too, so I most likely I answer the questions the same way you do. So you're fine. So I like that because you gave a very positive and exciting answer. Like I'm not in filmmaking, but it makes me feel like, oh wow, this would be fun because usually I would hear people say it is hard. You got to go here.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, but I can feel your mental attitude with it all. Like
I love it.
exactly, you love it. So it's like, yeah, you got to do the work. So it's like the tone with it from you is different versus someone else. Like they'll tell you it's hard, it's this, it's that, you got to do that. But yours is like the tone with it was it's fun. Like you love doing this, you love the different parts of it, and you pretty much painted a picture, an expansive picture where it's like that is fun versus someone else that could paint a picture like it's hard, you got to do this. So it's kind of like which one gets you to move more, but it all depends on the person. Some people get
I
motivated
mean,
by
it's hard. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it's, you gotta grind. I don't want to make it seem like you don't have to work.
no, you
But,
said it. You definitely
yeah,
said it. It's just the tone and the vibe with it was very
got you.
like, okay,
Okay.
I know I gotta work, but it's fun.
Get your butt to work.
Exactly, right? It's like it's more inviting, which okay, so you said something else in there too, because I remember we were talking and you said you were working with radio. So what is that like? Because I've always wondered, because I'm a podcaster, so it's like a lot of people say, aren't they kind of in the same area? I'm like, I don't think so, because I think radio, you guys have to be like on point. There ain't no, all right, I'm gonna edit this out. It's like
Oh
different.
no.
Yeah. But I've
Oh,
always thought of like doing something. Everyone's telling me I should do something with radio. I don't know what, but yeah. What would you say? What's that like? What's that whole?
commercial radio was fun. It was a good experience. I worked on air for Q93 in New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
the number one station in that area. I worked there for 8 years on air. And commercial music radio is we were iHeartMedia led. It was Clear Channel, then became iHeartMedia. Um, and there's guidelines to follow. You don't just get to willy nilly run a show and speak when you want to speak and talk for however long you want to talk. And they have formulas. Their goal is money.
Yeah.
That's commercial radio goal is money.
Right.
And in order to get money, there's many things we have to follow. One being keeping their attention span. And so if I'm talking and and it's not a talk show, I'm not going to keep their attention span, So their things is go in and go out. And if you're going to do content, make sure it's compelling and engaging and still in and out. Because, most people, we need them to listen 15 minutes or more commercial radio.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are listening, 15 minutes at a time. But whereas with the podcast, you just have freedom. That's why I can't wait to start mine.
Mm-hmm.
You have freedom. I love freedom. You have freedom to do what you want, say what you want, make it feel how you want it to feel, play what you want to play. Well, I don't know. You can't just play music, right? But
you can. It just have to be like copyright free.
Licensed. You have that permission, right? Yeah.
It's different.
But outside of music,
Mm-hmm.
you can. It's yours. It's your thing. How you want to do it. It's about you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just have the freedom to really be creative and talk what you want to talk and not have to worry about if you're going to get fired the next day. Beautiful.
Now I see. Yeah, because wow, that is, yeah, I'm very freedom. I'm all freedom. If it's not freedom or it's constrictions, it ain't gonna work with my spirit. I gotta be like the air. I gotta go here, I gotta go there. So
yeah.
yeah.
And one more thing to answer that question, I think the reason why podcasts are taking off now is because radio has always been, even with like entertainment issues, it's seclusive, right? It's everybody doesn't have a shot, right? It's very selective. And so it's like the same type of people are on the air, and it's very rare that you get different types of personalities. Yeah. Because everybody's competing against each other, but they're not competing in their own lane. It's like they're one-upping each other, Yeah. And so with commercial radio, it just kind of always sounds the same over and over and over. And with podcasts, there's so many unique personalities in this world. There's over 1 billion people, of course. And so for all of these people who have all of these different personalities and views and opinions and ways of doing things and creativity, it's cool to like discover how somebody's talking about this certain thing, or like, damn, I would have never thought to talk about this in the way this person is talking about it. Or like the structure of this podcast is so cool. Like I would have never thought about that. This keeps me entertained.
Yeah.
I'd much rather listen to this than the same thing over and over and over in the radio.
Yeah.
You know, or I'm getting something positive from this and I need this in my life. Or I love this person's take on pop culture. It's a lot different than, you know, the monotony of radio or whatever else. And so that's another thing I think is a big difference between commercial radio and podcast. It's so creative and unique, and you can literally get what you want and need to get without all the other fluff and the BS. And you can connect. I think podcasts too. There's something about podcasts, in my opinion, that makes me feel more intimate with the person that I'm speaking with than on commercial radio. Now, really good commercial radio personalities, which I was trained under some really great people. Shouts out to the personalities at Q93 and WILD 98.7 FM. Anywho, they were great at making people feel like they were talking to just them.
Yeah.
And that's how I was trained. And so really good commercial radio personalities make their audience feel like it's just them. It's just them. But then you listen to other radio personalities and then it's like you screamed at me or you randomly to me. And it's I want to connect with the human. And so that's a good thing about podcasts. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you gave me a lot right there. And you're right. There are some personalities.
I'm always giving you a lot.
No, but I love that. That's good for me. I like because you're giving me more insight. I know for all the listeners, they're getting more insight on just what it's like with the whole radio and podcasts and stuff, because I've had that question come up where people are like, oh, podcast, radio, and it's just like I hear different things. People are like, yeah, nah, they're different. Yeah, they got the whole voice and people, but it's different in the backgrounds with a lot of things. So yeah, you're definitely, yeah. And I must say, like, just so far with your background, like you have some really cool connections. Like you worked with TD Jakes, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you said like you knew Master P, right?
I told you that.
I think so.
Yeah. No, I do. Shouts out to Juggy. I mean, you know, when you live in Louisiana, it's not hard to know artists from Louisiana. We're a small state. We're a very connected state. Of course, New Orleans is the heartbeat. I guess Central Louisiana would be a heartbeat, but without New Orleans, there would be no Louisiana. Now I'm from Alexandria, which is in the middle of the state, but spent 12 years in New Orleans. My daughter's from New Orleans, so yeah. All that to say is like, yeah, I do. And then Juggy, who's a close friend of P's, and we worked together at Q93 in New Orleans. And so that's how I started my relationship with him. Well, it was through Q93, but then moving out here with Juggy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow. Good connections. That's a thing, man. Like how you said, it's like the people you know. Just I like it when you're doing like your passion, or you're following your gift or purpose, and you just meet really interesting people or people that you only have seen on TV, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I met this individual, and I don't know, I found that to be pretty cool, especially like in filmmaking. Like I just feel like you, in a good way, you're exposed to many different types of people that you would have never been exposed to if you were just doing regular stuff.
Right.
It's super cool, like good exposure.
And then not only that, it's like watching my friends fall into their successes. I was thinking about that the other day. I have a lot of friendships where like it's inspiring because you know, you're there when you're young and you're talking about it and it's a dream and you're doing different things. And then now it's like, yo, you're having a beach house party in Malibu with all the celebrities here on Labor Day weekend, and we're here and we're blessed and we're living life. It's amazing. I'm watching it.
Yeah.
You know, or you always wanted to be a principal in another state. And I have my best friend is, you know, her dream it was three of us, myself and my friend Juice and my best friend Tiffany. It was all three of us. And Jamil and I always wanted to go into entertainment. And Tiffany, she didn't want to be a principal. It was just like the funniest thing in the world. It's like, who wants to be a principal? But no, we need people who want to be in education, whose actual dream is to be in education and to be in leadership education. No, we need those people for sure. Mm-hmm. Having a daughter makes me realize how badly we need people who want, desire to do this thing. So, but we, when we were 18 and 19, it was like, what? Where your dreams at? Like, no. That was ignorant of us. Yeah. Because being a principal is not easy. It's not easy. You can't just do that. You have to work towards that. You have to work. And so, I'm very proud of her. But just even watching her go into her thing, it's just been amazing, and just watching, the friendships that I have and watching it manifest into dreams and reality. It's even better than seeing people on TV when you're younger and meeting them. Mm-hmm. Watching your people fall into that purpose and are the ones on TV or in leadership or wherever. That's even better to me. That's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah. I like that. Like how you say your friends falling into success. That honestly, that makes me, like you said, that feeling, that makes me super happy. That charges me up more than anything. When I see friends who I know they've been working on themselves, investing in themselves, and now we're able to witness their success. That is an amazing feeling to me. So I genuinely enjoy that. So I know exactly what you mean. So I have another question for you. Tell us about the workshop for the young girls that you do. And
I do a few workshops. So I do one for young girls. It's called LOVEYours. It promotes self-confidence through public speaking. Mm-hmm. I created it in 2016 with a friend of mine by the name of Davida Chanel. We wanted to create something for young girls, giving back with our individual talents. And then it just kind of spiraled into what it is today, which is a public speaking workshop for young Black girls ages 9 to 14. Mm-hmm. 11 to 14, actually, we moved the age. But I'm actually thinking about opening it back to 9. Anywho, I found that it was important to make sure that our young Black girls, especially, were equipped with the resources and the tools to be able to articulate themselves, to express themselves and what they had to say, and not be afraid of their opinions and their thoughts, and not feeling like they were inadequate and that they couldn't speak. Mm-hmm. Another part of that, besides working in media, I substitute teach sometimes, even still, but I would go to these schools, and this would happen in New Orleans as well as in LA. I would go to predominantly Black areas to teach because I work with an agency. And the young ladies, I would see, you would hear them in the lunchroom, you would hear them when school wasn't in session, in the hallways, on the yard, or whatever. And then in the classroom, they wouldn't read out loud. Some of them were nervous to even explain how they felt about things. It was just like they were different, right? And I, after talking to a few people, just came to the conclusion they're just not comfortable in an arena. Some people aren't comfortable in an arena, not just academically. Sometimes it don't have anything to do academically. And this goes beyond Black girls too. My focus is just young Black girls. But a lot of young people just don't feel comfortable speaking in front of other people. They get frightened, which you got adults who are the same way. Some people just don't feel like they're smart enough, or they have to say is compelling enough, or that their personality isn't charming enough. All kinds of reasons why they're not comfortable. They think people at that age, you're looking at me, you're judging me, you're laughing at me. If I mess up, it's the end of the world. Oh my God, all kinds of things. And I just found that by incorporating self-confidence techniques and exercises, and incorporating that along with public speaking, exercising, and building a sisterhood and trust with a network of other girls, I found that helped girls not only develop better self-confidence and better better pleasure in what they are able to produce themselves. I found that it helps them to speak better publicly too. And so that's how that workshop came about. I've done it in LA and New Orleans and Alexandria, Louisiana so far. And next year I plan on making it bigger. And I also have a postpartum depression awareness brunch that had its inaugural year this year in June. And it's focused also Black women talking about postpartum depression within the Black community. And that was a really good event. I can't wait to do that again. And I want to do it again in New Orleans as well. So those are the workshops that I am accountable for.
Okay. That's awesome. Like with the skills you do, especially with public speaking, like, so what advice would you give me? Because I'm taking public speaking now, and one of the things is that I in front of people I can talk in a regular setting. Oh, that's great. But when I'm in front of people and everybody's looking, it's like my heart rate starts to get high, and it's like I remember to breathe.
I was about to say, do you breathe?
Yeah, I'll breathe. Like I'll take.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I take a deep breath. And before I start,
take one breath, or you keep breathing?
I take a deep breath and I keep it going. I keep breathing regularly. It's just my heart rate is like pounding, and I know usually it takes some time. Once I start talking, it'll start to go down. But I know my voice is a bit shaky with it, and I just like that part I can understand. But I'm like, I love people. You put me around them, be great. But everybody's looking, and I have to speak. Then it's kind of like. So I'm like, so.
Now I'll share something with you, and I think many great performers will tell you this. Beyonce will tell you this. Many people will tell you this, that you get butterflies every time it's time to go. Every time it's go time, because each time is different. Mm-hmm. It's an adrenaline that rushes through you, and a part of the adrenaline is the butterflies. Mm-hmm. So it's all about converting that and using that for your own good. Now you said something about you breathe, but your voice still gets shaky or whatever. To that, I would say try breathing differently. Okay. Simply because our breath controls so much, including our heart rate, including our voice. Mm-hmm. And so if you're breathing from the diaphragm, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and you're controlling it, and you're actually counting in your head how long you're holding this breath and when you're releasing, then you just have more control over your body and everything that comes along with it. So I know you say you do breathe. I would just say, try breathing differently, in a way to where you're counting in your head, in a way to where your whole body is a part of it, and it's not just it's, actual controlled, methodical, just thought out breaths. And from there, you have control of your instrument, which is your body, and you're able to better produce whatever sound that you have. Also, it comes with the more you do it, it's a muscle. The more you do it, the better you get. And talking on a podcast like this is a lot different than talking to a mass of people.
Yeah, it is. Big difference.
Now, the funny thing about it is I did better talking on camera to a bunch of people in an arena because I worked for the Pelicans as their in-arena host. Mm-hmm. I did much better doing that, and I felt way more comfortable doing that than on radio.
Wow. I hear that. I hear that. People
I got more nervous.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Every break on the radio, I got more nervous. Can't see nobody. Nobody can see me. And I was more nervous than standing in an arena of thousands of people about to go live on camera. No turning back. Just once the light on, I'm on. I'm here. Gotta take off of memory. I can't read nothing because I don't like reading cue cards on camera. Who's gonna do that? I'm gonna talk to you. Whereas the radio, I can read my liner. I can have a whole script written out. You wouldn't know it, depending on how I execute it. You would know it. But I was more nervous when the microphone cracked on my radio board than when the light from the camera came on in the arena and my face is on the Jumbotron. Yeah. It's, we all have our different, it's different,
You're right. You're definitely right. And you just made me aware. I think when I breathe, it's more of a shallow breathing. It's like in the chest. It's not like diaphragm. So that's something to definitely work on.
Count. Don't count fast, count slowly. Because when you're breathing and counting, it's your senses are involved more, and you're just really taking control over your entire body and your aura. And that's what it's about. It's about control. So even though those feelings are there, you're controlling it. It's not controlling you.
Got you. Okay. You gave me some stuff to work with. That's something I could definitely do. Because I know for me, I'm an energy guy. So I have to look at it from a energetic perspective and focus on the breath and all. So and like you said, also it takes that practice and getting used to it. So yeah. So it takes time. It takes time, but definitely you gave me a lot to work on, to focus on the breath and to breathe. Because I remember when I did a speech, I did pretty good for myself where I took a breath first. And then I was like, I made it funny. I was like, okay, I'm remembering to breathe here. This is my first time. And I just executed, and it just turned out really well. So it's just remembering that. But
yeah. And who's in control is you.
Exactly. Exactly. You're definitely right. Definitely gotta remember that.
Until that light come on, and it's like,
It's just so interesting. It's just like, you're up, and it's like, my heart rate is like,
yeah, it's a part of it. It's adrenaline, and it comes with you. That's how you still love it. That's how it still matters to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta keep that in mind. Then that's how I know I still love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So regarding then people, do you have any struggles connecting with people by any chance, or no?
What do you mean?
So, okay, being in the field that you're in, I would imagine you probably don't, but being in the field, there are lots of people you have to talk with or connect with or communicate with. Did you ever have any struggles with just being able to connect with the individual, as in maybe you were shy or know what to say, or?
Oh no, I've never had an issue based off of me. Now, granted, there are times and places to do things, right? And going in prematurely when it's obviously not the right time to be trying to give somebody your mixtape or tell people about, your up and coming whatever. There's obvious times that just aren't right. And even sometimes in those obvious times where it's not right, maybe there's somebody around the person that you can talk to get to them, But aside from that, I was saying because sometimes if you reach out in those times it's obviously not right, that will hinder you more. But those is just really small window of space for that. But you still got to know when it's not the right time, right?
Right.
But other than that, I don't have an issue with reaching out to folks now. Just because you reach out don't mean they're gonna answer, or just because they tell you they're gonna do something doesn't mean that it will. I found though that the more work you do, the more of a name you build for yourself, the more projects you have, the more people are going to take you serious, right? Every now and then you hear a story of a young person coming up to somebody and like, hey, dog, I really like your work. I really respect your work. I'm this, I'm that. I'm going to do this, I'm that, and don't have anything to show for it. And they take them under their wing because people like to teach people. Yeah. And so that's always people like that, But then if you are supposedly X, Y, have your things right too. Be honest. Don't get up there telling us a lie, because people now, they can see you. They can see you through social media, which I know it can be a facade, but still, it's like, if you are a creative, you have to have something to show for it. Right. If you don't have anything to show for it, they're not going to take you serious. And so people really respect the person who is taking advantage of the resources. Because if you're taking advantage of every resource that you have, then that means you're what? You're serious.
Yeah.
You know, don't come up to me telling me that you're an artist, but you can't show me pictures of any of your work. You know, don't come up here telling me that you are a director, but you don't have a reel, or an actor and you don't have a reel, or that you're a filmmaker and you don't have a movie, you know, a short film or whatever under your belt or something, you know.
Yeah.
Make work, make good work, and keep making the work, and you'll find that people who would have never talked to you come looking for you. So, you know, I've had my struggles with connecting, not because I was scared to talk, just because for whatever reason, you know, I wasn't taken as serious as I wanted to be taken. And granted, you know, thankfully I have friends around me who are successful and have connected me with folks. And so when you're connected to people through someone who's already connected, you know, that also makes a difference too. So, yeah, but don't ever, you know, don't get in your own way.
Right.
Don't get in your own way. You know, if you got to practice the script, if you got to just have 3 general questions written down in your notebook, in your phone's notes, just about, just general questions about the industry, have them down so that if you do get to encounter somebody, you know what to say and you're not scared, you know? Don't get in your own way. There's enough that's going to be in your way. You can't be in it.
Got you. Okay. You definitely said something there too, with making sure you have something to back up, like to prove that you're serious. That's very important, having that. I didn't really think of that. It's like, for me, I do things and it's automatic, but it's cool what you said. Just having something to show that you are serious and like whatever, like you're being very creative, like, okay, let me look at what this person has and stuff like that. And that opened a door in the back of the head for me. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so you kind of did, or you pretty much, but I'm gonna still ask it anyway. What advice would you give like filmmakers and actresses based off like what you've been doing?
Make your own things. Make your own things, for real. Use your resources, for sure.
All right, use your resources. And then I guess last question I'd ask you is, what would you say is a fun fact about yourself?
Let's see. I'm so goofy and silly and random. I have lots of random stories. Fun fact about me. I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again because it's important to know. I'm a performing fool. I will outperform anybody as long as I can breathe. You know, I dance, and sometimes I run out of breath. I think that's a fun fact about me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, do you have any questions before we end the recording?
No, the main thing is, you know, follow your dreams, be a good person. Seriously, be a good person. Learn from your mistakes. Always change, always evolve. Don't be afraid to step out. Learn from your peers. Support your brothers and sisters. And learn from them and grow from them. Surround yourself with good people. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health, whatever that means to you. And stay creating. And congratulations to you to all these episodes and which congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you definitely said your mental health is
take care of it.
If
follow, subscribe to my YouTube, watch my stuff at Nicole Collins on Instagram. I know you're gonna have all of this, but you know, just gonna read because sometimes hearing it helps.
For sure. And yeah, you definitely sent me all that, so that's definitely going to be on there. So with that being said, then guys, I'm going to end the recording here, and then you can stay on for a little bit. I'm just gonna stop the recording here. But that being said, this was Nicole Collins, everyone. She is awesome.
Thank you.
I'm glad you were able to take the time to come on. This is great. Got an actress on the podcast, so that was awesome. So that being said, guys, I will talk to you next week. Later. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please leave a 5-star rating and share with a friend near you. Remember, the world's a better place because you exist. Know your worth and know thyself.